Hey guys, it's Craig Chick, and today we are going to be diving into the world of Game of Thrones. I have already seen all the seasons of Game of Thrones so far, but it's been a while since I've seen the earlier seasons. So my goal here is to do a rewatch and do an in-depth analysis of each episode and talk to you guys hopefully in the comment section about characters, how much they've grown, all of that. So this is really aimed towards the audience that has already seen Game of Thrones, and we can just experience the world together again, see what I missed, because the first time I just watched it as kind of an ignorant viewer. I didn't really know about the lore, the history, and all that, but I feel like Game of Thrones really deserves a second watch through and me taking notes and understanding the characters more and their motivations. So I think this was going to be a really exciting experience. Hope you guys subscribe, like, comment about each episode, and follow me on my journey into Game of Thrones. And with that being said, I got my Arya Stark shirt on, and I'm ready to get it going.
Savages. One lot steals a goat from another lot, before you know it, they're ripping each other to pieces.
I forgot how much of an asshole this guy is.
I never seen a thing like this, not ever in my life.
How close did you get?
Close as any man would.
We should head back to the wall.
Yeah.
Do the dead frighten you?
Our orders were to track the
Forgot how much of an
Warlords.
asshole this guy is.
They won't trouble us no more.
You don't think he'll ask us how they died? Get back on your horse.
Famous last words. Ugh.
What is it?
Guts? Whoa. Anything that's so... Those blue eyes, man. I never noticed that there was one standing behind him too. There's like two of them there, maybe even more.
Don't think too much, Bran.
Relax your bow arm.
Oh, Arya, my number one forever and always.
You understand why I did it?
John said he was a deserter.
But do you understand why I had to kill him?
Our way is the old way.
The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword.
The Honorable Ned Stark, man.
The White Walkers have been gone for thousands of years.
Did you have to bury her in a place like this? She should be on a hill somewhere with the sun and the clouds above her.
She was my sister.
It's really the only time we see emotion from Robert is when he's
She belonged with me.
talking about his love.
In my dreams, I kill him every night.
It's done, Your Grace. Targaryens are gone.
Not all of them.
Oh wow.
It's too hot, my lady.
Oh no, it's not too hot.
Do you see Arena's Ares? When Dothraki are defeated in combat, they cut off their brain so the whole world can see their shame. Khal Drogo has never been defeated. He's a savage, of course.
That's so
He's one of the
cool.
finest killers alive. And you will be his queen.
Come forward, my dear.
Go home. But they took it from us.
He's such an
Tell me,
asshole.
sweet sister, how do we go home?
I don't know.
We go home with an army. With Khal Drogo's army. I would let his whole tribe fuck you. All 40,000 men and their horses too, if that's what it took.
Jorah!
Alves Ren. A small gift for the new Khaleesi. Songs and histories from the Seven Kingdoms.
Thank you, sir. Are you from my country?
Sir Jorah Mormont of Bear Island has served your father for many years. Gods be good, I hope to always serve the rightful king.
Dragon's eggs, Daenerys, from the Shadowlands beyond Ashai. The ages have turned them to stone, but they will always be beautiful.
Thank you, Magister.
That music in the background doesn't mean anything. That's a really awesome gift.
Beautiful. Sir Jorah, I don't know how to say thank you in Dothraki.
There is no word for thank you in Dothraki.
Stop! Stop!
Are you completely mad?
He saw us!
It's all right, it's all right, it's all right.
He saw us!
I heard you the first time. Quite the little climb, aren't you? How old are you, boy?
10.
10.
Oh, Jamie.
The things I do for love.
I heard that line is from the book too. Okay, so for this in-depth analysis, I'm going to try to go in order of how it showed up in the episode, but obviously I'm going to go off on tangents and talk about something random because it's going to remind me of something and we're going to get out of order, but it's okay. So, the opening scene, I think I said this in my reaction, I love that it sets you up for the whole show with dramatic irony. The dramatic irony is, we know that the White Walkers are out there. We know that they're coming. They try to send a message, and no one believes that they exist anymore. They think they're extinct, and some people never think that they never even existed. And it's so crazy how George R. Martin wrote that, because I feel like a lot of viewers, including myself when I first saw it, was expecting just this medieval battle, like it was going to be whimsical and kind of like smart, you know, you have people going behind people's backs, and it was going to be that kind of show. But right off the bat, they slap you in the face with science fiction, and they go, no, there's going to be a greater evil here. And I love that. Ned, I mean, kind of the main character of the show, the first season, he, actually, I never noticed this, how he says the most iconic lines first, and we hear it multiple times throughout the show, but he's the first one to say winter is coming, and he's the first one to say whoever passes the sentence should swing the sword, which that comes up so many times in, like, the seasons, you know, and I think it's just so awesome. He's so honorable, and I'm gonna jump already, just get all the Ned things out of the way. Like, they're saying, oh, you don't have to say yes to Robert, you don't have to be hand of the king, but, I mean, Ned is so honorable, and he's so by the book, and he obeys oaths. He decapitates people who break their oaths. Like, there's no way a guy like that can say no to the king, especially to one of his best friends, which adds on another, like, whole layer to it, that he doesn't want to say no to his best friend that he fought on the battlefield for to get the throne. But, you know, Catelyn's worried, obviously, because she thinks that the Lannisters killed Jon Arryn because her sister, that's what her sister told her. Little do we know. Anyways. But, so she's like, you want him to be Hand of the King when the other Hand of the King was just murdered? Like, what are you talking about? And they haven't really established this yet, but obviously we've seen the show. I also think a worry for her is, and she brings it up in a further episode, the last time you left me, you came back with a baby. So she also has that insecurity. Of course, being murdered is top on the list, but the other part is she doesn't want him to be unfaithful to her again, which, you know, was he? So yeah, Ned has that whole, he already has a bunch of things going on in the first episode. Jaime and Cersei, their first appearance, and I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, what the hell are they talking about? But we all know now, they actually kind of tell, well, I guess you don't know that, even though in the end scene they showed them having sex, you don't know that they were talking about that at the beginning. When they were by Jon Arryn, they were doing a little ritual for him, probably to go into afterlife, make it to the afterlife. Did he tell anyone? And they're just saying, did he tell anyone? They're being very vague, and you're like, tell anyone what? But we all assume that it may be about their incest, but we all know it was way deeper than that, but I will not get into that now since this is episode 1 and they didn't deal with that. Tyrion, I mean, what an introduction for his character. It just sums him up so well, but even though there's more to him, obviously, he's in a whorehouse, he's having sex, and he says some clever things like, oh yeah, my brother's the pretty one, I'm the clever one, which Jaime's clever too, but that's kind of Tyrion's thing, right? I mean, he outsmarts people, he knows how to handle things. I mean, he's had to go through life being an imp. I know that's not a good word to use, but being shorter than everyone else, I'll just say that. And so he's had to deal with life, just everyone looking at him, everyone calling him names, everyone thinking he's lesser, his own father, his own sister, all this stuff. And that's one of my favorite scenes of episode 1 is when he goes up to Jon and he's like, oh, did I offend you for calling you a bastard? That's what you are. That's what you're going to be called all the time. Own it. Wear it like armor. And that's so such an amazing line, because you just have to own it. Your insecurities, you have to own it, so then other people can't hurt you. And it also sets Tyrion up for being more than just a guy who gets drunk and having sex. Like, there's more to him, and I think that's amazing. Then, like, almost on cue, you know, it's like they edited this on purpose. Of course they did. Right when Ned says there are no Targaryens, it flashes, and the first time you see Daenerys, Dany, I'm going to call her because it's just easier. So you see Dany and Viserys. Right? Is that how you pronounce it? Wow. First of all, casting is amazing in the show. Like, Arya looks like Ned, Sansa looks like Catelyn, Dany and her brother look alike, and they're amazing actors, because sometimes when shows do that and they get people who look alike, they sacrifice some of the acting, but that is not the case in the show, obviously. So you see her, she goes into the hot bath, and they're like, oh, that's too hot, it's too hot. Of course, it's alluding to her actually being the dragon and not her brother. And I always laugh at her brother's lines. Like, he's like, do you want to awake the dragon? Like, he says the cheesiest freaking shit. And, oh, he's a douchebag. Another thing with Game of Thrones, in the first episode, so everyone has, like, their goods and their bads. But in the first episode, they almost set you up and tell you, like, you should like this person. You should hate this person. Like, I mean, when Viserys goes to Dany, is like, I would have all 30,000 of his men and his horses fuck you if that's what it took. Like, obviously, the show is saying, don't like this person, hate this guy like Dany, you know what I mean? They're very good at drawing your attentions to who you're supposed to like and dislike, and they also flip it sometimes, or they, like, come out of nowhere and be like, just kidding, this guy's bad. So, it's just, the show is so perfect is a strong word. So top-notch, I'll put it like that, that there's just so many things that they do, and they just make the audience, it's so watchable, first of all. It's long, but it's watchable, and there's so many things going on, and like I'm doing here, you can rewatch it and pick up new things every time. It's amazing. Sansa, when she first hears that her and Joffrey might get married, and she's talking to Catelyn like, this is all I've wanted to do in my life. It's so true, because first time going through, I hated Sansa. I really did. Didn't like her. But now that I think about it, like hearing, oh, I'm 13, you know, all this stuff, and she's been trained her whole life to be this proper lady, to be a princess. So all she wants to be is a princess and eventually the queen. And so I kind of forgive her for everything she's kind of done, or what she did in season 1, because I was very annoyed with her the first time I saw it. And now I can kind of see that they were trying to build her character. I mean, she's just a little girl, so you have to be kind of considerate of what she has to go through. And even Ned said it to Arya, like, she was put in front of the king and asked to call his son a liar. Like, so I understand. So, Sansa, I'm sorry. Catelyn and Ned. So there's some cool things that I obviously didn't get the first time watching through. Like, as they show the shot of him standing there and Catelyn's on this side and the Maesters on the other side. And he's thinking about going to King's Landing. And she's like, you know what happened the last time a king invited a Stark to King's Landing. Or invited your father, blah, blah. And now I get it because, you know, the Mad King invited his father and brother, right? I'm not sure. I know one was his father and burned him alive in front of everyone. So that was cool. And then, of course, we have the iconic ending scene of the first episode. Brandon climbing the tower and finding Cersei and Jaime. So the first time I saw this, I was, okay, I'm still shocked by it because, like, that doesn't really happen in our time anymore. It doesn't. Like, if it does, the babies come out all fucked up. So, seeing incest be so normal in this world and it doesn't have any repercussions with the kids, well, I mean, maybe that's why Joffrey's so messed up. Anyways, so Brandon seeing Cersei and Jaime, you can tell Cersei's character because she didn't even ask, like, will you not say anything, blah, 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 which, once again, he is a kid, so I wouldn't trust that either. But my first instinct would be, he saw us push him out the window. So you can just tell, like I said, they really paint the picture of who you're not supposed to like right away. And Cersei and Jaime are definitely two characters that you're not supposed to like. But, you know, Jaime arcs, Cersei stays the same bitch, but it's still a great character. So yeah, so you get a lot from the first episode. I'm so excited to rewatch this. I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below your favorite scenes and your favorite characters just from watching the first episode. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about how they've changed and all that. And I'll see you next time on episode 2.